Hi people, it's Chilli here from Live Listen Race, giving you a new episode of 5-Minute Reviews. So, Weezer is back in season, baby. Someone to be more accurate. The lads have come through on a promise to release an album each new season, with this one being the second installment in the series. Their first was titled Seasons Spring, and that came out 3 months ago. I also did a 5-minute review, which you can check out in the link above now. So now we have reached summer, because the band of course is in the Northern Hemisphere. For us in Australia, we are enjoying a cold, wet, miserable winter with our fourth flood in 12 months. Take that, Yanks, putting up with your miserable heat and campfires while you enjoy Independence Day. We're just wrapped in jumpers. Rant aside, we are introduced to 7 new tracks from Weezer, which is following a trend from their last album, and this EP is just under 25 minutes long. And like I stated in my previous review, they seem to be following a musical motif. They have stepped away from the folksy acoustic-y songs from the last album and decided to plug their guitars into the amp this time around, producing a much more electric and fuzzy sound that we are accustomed to from Weezer. So, let's get into this. Let's start with the good. Now, the second track from this Weezer record is a solid composition. Big riffs, followed with palm muting, followed up with some strumming along with no pause to build up the point. The song in question is called Records and talks about the music that Rivers hears in his head on a daily basis, possibly relating to the repetition of radio and getting the same songs stuck in our head. We can all relate. I was going to mention a few, but I'm sure you could list a dozen in the comments section below. This is one kick-ass track. Speaking of kicking ass, the track What's the Good of Being Good just oozes of Blue Album delight. A fantastic bass line that draws out a moody song and ties together those nice fuzzy guitars. But the drums are the real kicker here, and they are very energetic throughout this song. Nicely done. 2 other songs worthy of mention here is Blues Like Jazz and Opposite of Me, which are also fairly decent, with the first being a catchy hook and the second being a much faster piece. Fairly decent Weezer songs in the addition here. I must also mention the closing track, Thank You and Good Night, which is such an awesome closing track with a nice build-up, close-out, fake-out, and a second build-up. It's such a roller coaster of a song. The average songs on this album to me include the opening track Lawn Chair. My reason for this is because it feels a bit out of place on the EP. It might be relating to songs from the previous EP Garden of Eden and Angels on Vacation, but I feel like that is a bit of a stretch to make this connection, in particular for that second song. Musically, it's a very cool intro, but when you follow up a song that shows disdain for heaven and the angels with a song about records in your head, then the song loses its impact. Maybe when all the EPs are finally released, we will have a clearer picture of the message that they are trying to relate. But until then... Also the track Kumoville. We need an ego check right here. This song continues with Shakespeare references from the previous album, and for me, I don't know, it just rubs me the wrong way. I don't particularly enjoy it. It does have some decent guitar parts, but I just can't get into this track. Overall, I would say this is a vast improvement to Spring, with the score of this album being 1.5 million chilies on the spicy scale, with standout tracks being Records, What's the Good of Being Good, and Thank You and Good Night. You know, I'm a sucker for Weezer when they go hard and heavy in their songs, and this EP mostly fills my needs. It feels like a real resurgence piece, more rambunctious and rash compared to the previous EP, but at the same time it just falls a little bit short of being spectacular. I'm curious to see where Weezer will lead us next on their upcoming EP Autumn, and you can count on me to do a follow-up review in 3 months' time, but until then, I'm Chilli again, and this is a 5-minute review episode. Everyone out there, I hope you have a great day and stay spicy. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Live Listen Erased. And if you have enjoyed this episode, make sure you share it with all your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to our Chilli Con Carnage Crew so you can get notified for all the future videos that we put out, as we put out videos every Friday. Also, we are on Discord, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter over at Live Listen Erased, so make sure to tune in over there. And don't forget to like this video so that our manager can stay very happy.